Ladies and gentlemen, the Governor of the State of South Dakota, Dennis Daugaard.
Good afternoon, and thank you all for being here. Secretary Mavis, thank you so much for coming to South Dakota. We're very excited to have the attack submarine named after South Dakota. And one thing I've learned over the years is to try and learn from other folks. And as I was arriving, looked at the bright sun and the growing temperature, I looked around at all the Navy personnel dressed in white, and I thought to myself, here I am dressed in a black suit, not very thoughtful. But then Lieutenant Governor Michels said, well, you could have at least worn a Navy suit. And so next time, I'll do that. The other thing I've learned is when to call on people who are better at something than I am to do a job that's important. And so I want to cede my time to the Lieutenant Governor. Lieutenant Governor Michels and I have been good friends for a number of years, and that's why I asked him to run with me. If something would ever happen to me as governor, I know Matt Michels would do a great job as governor. And I know that he'll do a better job than I could in talking about the importance of this event today. And the reason for that is you can't spend very much time with Lieutenant Governor Michels before you learn very quickly that he is a Navy man. He's known to shout, "Go Navy," at inappropriate times. If there is such a time, I don't know. But even last night when I was having dinner with him, we were at a gathering and there were maybe 200 or 300 or 400 people, and the Navy the band played the Navy song, and Lieutenant Governor Michels shouted, "Go Navy." So I'm going to ask him to come forward and speak. He's former Lieutenant Commander Matt Michels, and like the Battleship South Dakota, he too served in the Pacific Theater, spent some time in the Philippines, and then later in Mayport, Florida. He's an honor graduate of the U.S. Naval Justice School, and among other citations, he was awarded the Navy Achievement and Navy Commendation Medals. Please welcome Lieutenant Governor Matt Michels.
That's very, very, very humbling. Mr. Secretary, thank you, Governor, for this incredible opportunity. Would you please step forward, sir? The Governor and I would like to present you with the beautiful State of South Dakota pin. We're the Mount Rushmore state and wear that with pride, and this is our coin, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir. So would you join me up here too for a second? On the count of 3, everybody, what are we going to do? We're going to go Navy, right? 1, 2, 3. Go Navy! One more time. 1, 2, 3. Go Navy! Thank you.
It's only been 10 years that we beat Army. You might mention that.
Oh, I forgot. It's only been 10 years since
Army beat us.
Our Army beat us, right? That's why my Army friends. Well, actually, that's a nice tie-in. And Governor, for this honor, I am truly indebted to you and the friendship that we have. The state of South Dakota is celebrating, under the commanding officer Dennis Daugaard's leadership, the 150th birthday of our militia, our National Guard. And that's how we were all raised. Everybody here was raised to serve and protect and understand that the liberties through the territory that came up through here and went west were defended by people who said, we were a country that was yet to be divided. Lincoln brought us together. We are a state that has in its history the Civil War in bringing us together. Mr. Secretary, just south of here we have a Union County. Just south of here we have a Lincoln County. Just north of here we have a Grant County. We even have a community named Gettysburg. And the people that have settled here, and some of the first people that died in our state veterans home in the beautiful city of Hot Springs, actually served in many other states and came here to settle in the Homestead Act and brought with them what they taught us, what our parents taught us, and that is people have fought and died on land and sea. Some will remember, some we won't know, so that a little kid from Del Rapids who came from an immigrant family can ask a fat, pudgy kid from Vermilion, South Dakota, who came from a single-parent family, not from money. We didn't come from political opportunity. We weren't born to a monarchy. We were born to opportunity, where all could be free and all could succeed if we took advantage of what was in front of us. And that's what we're standing on here, and dare I say, Mr. Secretary and Governor, it's hallowed ground. When we look at how proud we are as South Dakotans, whether it's Navy, Marines, Army, Coast Guard, or Air Force, in defending our freedom, we're one brother and sisterhood. We understand in our small state that our liberties are only one generation away from being curtailed if people like the Great Seals that went in, that strike force, and took care of that terrorist. We know it, right? And the young people here that need to do any sort of book reports on this start out with World War I and understand that the armored cruiser was also the USS South Dakota, very decorated. Coincidentally, its name was retired and it became the USS Huron. We have a Huron, South Dakota. That's the coincidence, Mr. Secretary. And it never was renamed USS South Dakota in World War I. But as this memorial and all of you dedicated people who put this memorial together stands, is almost 49 years ago, almost 50 years ago, before this ship was decommissioned, its history was one of liberating, especially the Far East, especially the areas of Leyte Gulf. This aircraft operated and received more battle stars, this ship, more battle stars than any other ship in the Navy's history. 13 battle stars, 13 in World War II, and SSN-790 will protect us as well. This ship went into Luzon. It accompanied MacArthur. I had the privilege, my wife, who also served with us in the Navy, had the opportunity to go to Leyte Gulf and see exactly where those ships came in, and where the USS South Dakota came in, where people died so that we could stand here today and have media cover us and people achieve their dreams. It went into Iwo Jima, Okinawa, and guess what? This ship was in Tokyo Bay when the Japanese surrendered. That is the legacy of Battleship X. Her incredible contributions will be carried forward, but in case you're on a game show, we have a little bit of trivia for you, Mr. Secretary. The youngest member of all of World War II was on board this ship. He was pretty big for his size. His name was Calvin Graham, but he was very big for his size. He was on this ship and was engaged on the ship during the Battle of Santa Cruz and Guadalcanal. And for his service, he received a Bronze Star and the Purple Heart. After that, he admitted to a gunnery sergeant by the name of Sergeant Shriver on board this ship, who later married Eunice Kennedy, that he was really too young to be on the ship. He admitted he was underage. He was promptly, of course, in great Navy style, put in the brig and then dishonorably discharged after getting some bread, I'm sure. He was returned to Texas. After that, he immediately celebrated his 13th birthday and started studies in the 7th grade. Isn't that something? We are proud, Mr. Secretary and the Governor and the people of South Dakota, all of us, to carry this nameplate, the silent service, in defending our freedoms. And I do think it's coincidental that we believe that this SSN-790 will be in the Pacific Theater again, protecting us in deployments in our nation in many ways that we'll never know about. We know, as Secretary of the Navy, sir, that you had a lot of other choices, but the process you went through was one of like your background. You understood as a young man growing up with your parents running a hardware store that we're regular people that had these opportunities to be free because people have died and have that affinity for the service. We're privileged, sir, to have you here. We're more than honored to be part of the naming of the USS South Dakota 790 SSN and the silent service, and all of you that have served in the Navy and those that are currently serving. Let's continue to remember our families and everyone who's given the ultimate sacrifice, and have just a fabulous time as we adopt this USS South Dakota as our ship. You ready to do it one more time? 1, 2, 3. Go Navy! Thank you.